Hello and welcome to the JS AI Buildathon. In this quest, we'll be working on how you can build your first AI agent. And how it goes, as usual, is first of all, we have our quest description, which is I want to build an AI agent. And what you'll be doing in this quest is basically building an AI agent for yourself. The prerequisites are the same as always: a GitHub account, Visual Studio Code installed, Node.js installed, an Azure subscription, and the Azure Developer CLI. What an agent is a program powered by AI models that can, one, understand the instructions you give it, be able to reason through them and make decisions, and finally, which is the most important bit, is it should be able to perform tasks autonomously based on the instructions given. The assumption is you've probably completed the previous steps and you have the Azure AI Foundry Visual Studio Code extension installed. That is the one thing that we'll be working with in this quest. The first thing is we will need to create an agent. It is important to note only this region supports agents. So if you're using a different region, please ensure you create a new Azure AI Foundry project and deploy your model. Once that's done, update your working directory and create a new folder called agent in the packages directory of your project. From there, you can create and configure an agent. And once your configuration is done, it should look something like this. So ensure you add in the ID LGBT40, and then that is an example. You can use a different model, and then ensure you also add instructions to it. Once it's created, you can go ahead to the playground. You deploy to Azure AI Foundry, and you can go to the playground. This is the agent playground. Select your agent and play around with it, right? Just say, hi, can you tell me about something? And it will give you information. But then if you ask something about a present information, like what's the weather in Nairobi right now, it might tell you, I have no idea what the weather in Nairobi is. So what you might do next is add a tool to your agent. And the tool you're adding for our case is the Bing search resource. And this resource, you will need to go ahead to Azure and deploy that Bing resource if you do not have any currently. So how you can do that is migrate to the Azure portal and create that resource. Once it's created, go to Azure AI Foundry portal and select the management center. This will enable you to create a connection with the Bing resource you just created. And once that's done, prepare the Bing for grounding. How you do this is get your tool connections, that is the subscription, which is the subscription ID, and the resource group name. You can also add other details such as the project name and the Bing grounding name. Add them to your keys and endpoints, and this will help you be able to attach it to your application. So you will configure the Bing YAML file, and how you can do this is click on the Azure AI Foundry icon, then you will create a new tool. In that tool, name it Bing Search and add in your grounding details. This is the type and the ID and the options for the tool connections. Then, if you ask that question again, what is the weather in Nairobi right now, it will be able to give you a response based on what's on the internet. The last step is you migrate your agent from the playground to code. You can do this by one, going to the agent's playground, click on view code, and here it will give you an option of code in different languages. Select the JavaScript tab and copy that code and add it to a new file called agent.js in the packages/web API directory of your project. Once that's done, run the code. And if you want to create a message to this, you will need to update the client.agents.create message method to include the message you want to send. So like what's the current weather in Cairo, or whichever location you want it to be. The last bit is you create an agent service module whereby you can be able to update it in the server.js file, update the chat UI to now have an agent module, and with that, you can be able to switch between agent mode and the API mode. In agent mode, you can be able to ask any question like, what's the weather? And it will be able to respond with the weather depending on the region you are in. And that's it for this quest. As usual, ensure you have the agent folders in the packages directory. Add your code to GitHub by using the git command to commit and push your messages, and then wait for about 15 seconds for GitHub Actions to update your README. And that's it. See you in the next quest.